Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dental Operations Unpacked. I'm your host, Jake Larson, here with my co-host, Clint Berry, and an old friend of ours. We have known Taylor for a while, and she was so generous to join us. This is Taylor Ashcraft. Hey, Taylor, thanks so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. So happy to be here.
Taylor comes from a group called Accelerate Dental. For those of you that know them, and we've known Taylor for I don't know, has it been like a year and a half, almost year
Yep.
plus.
Yeah.
Um, she's helped us a ton in building out our data warehouse product. We've built some stuff for them, and so we've got to know her and her tremendous amount of experience and skill and crazy memory and knowledge about all things dental data. It's incredible. So we're thrilled to have her today. It's going to be a lot of fun to go through this with her. So thanks again, Taylor, for joining us.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. Thanks again, guys.
So before we get in, I just want to let you set the stage for you, Taylor, to tell a little bit people about your background. I know I mentioned Accelerate. Tell people, a little bit about yourself, where you come from, how you got into dental, that type of thing, and then we can jump into the actual episode.
Okay. First and foremost, wife to an incredible, hardworking cowboy husband. Love him to death. We're Southeast Idaho, country kid, bred, born, love all things outdoors, and I've got two littles that keep me busy all the time, day night. Moms know that. I found my love of dental kind of in an odd way through the healthcare route. I would not recommend going the route that I went. The reason I found the love for that, my parents both had severe health issues while I was growing up. So we were frequent flyers in the healthcare space, life flight a couple of times and in and out of hospitals. And it was a larger part of my childhood and my upbringing than I would have hoped. But it ended my sister as a phenomenal nurse practitioner. And then it ended me kind of on the path to pharmacy, and I detoured because of a phenomenal friend that I worked in pharmacy with that became a dental hygienist. And so I got sucked into dental, did it to put myself through school because I was going to go to pharmacy school, and I never left. So I've been in dental since 2011 and healthcare since 2004. So
Oh,
been
nice.
here a while.
That's when we started in dental, 2011. That's when we started at Weave.
There you
Yeah,
go. Oh, weave, the good old days.
the good old days. Taylor knows.
Yep,
That's
so
right.
that's a little bit about where I came from. Right now, I am serving as Director of Operations over training and development for Accelerate. You kind of mentioned that a little bit. We are a different kind of dental partnership organization for those that don't know. Really phenomenal. And I've been with the company since that time. We've gone through a couple of name changes and a couple of mergers, but the core values still stand, and we are going strong and stronger than ever just because we believe doctor owned, doctor led, doctor centric, partner supported practices are better for the patients, the staff, the communities, and we have a perpetual model. We don't sell to private equity. We have doctor investors. They drive everything that we do, and that's why we exist in this space. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm so passionate about what we do, and I'm the operations side of things. I see the business, but I'm the how. A lot of people decide what to do and why to do it, and I'm the how we get there. So very
And
passionate.
she does an amazing job at it. You're gonna get tons of insights from her today and see exactly how you hear the passion from Taylor. It's one of the things I was excited about to have her on the podcast. You can hear the passion, so much knowledge, so much experience. I would be shocked if operators don't listen to this lesson and or this episode and walk away with lessons that they can apply right out of the gates. So let's introduce our topic. Let's dive in. So the topic today, we're talking about claims, clean claims, faster cash, the systems behind great insurance teams. So everyone knows insurance is one of the most complex and frustrating parts of dental operations. Um, there's so much to unpack here. So I want to just kind of set the stage a little bit, talk about why insurance processes are often misunderstood across teams. I'll just turn that over to Taylor, and she can kind of take that question and run with it to kind of help set the stage for this topic.
Perfect. Okay, I love engagement, so you guys are gonna have to ask me questions, and we'll kind of take this the direction that's most beneficial for you. And I do hope with this as well, the operators can literally take this episode and be like, teams, watch this and learn. So hopefully they
I
take things
love
from it, but also being able to use it with teams and be like, do what she says to do, because this is going to make a difference. So it typically is misunderstood just because teams are not taught the system of insurance, and it is a system, which I feel like is where we get kind of mixed up in things. We assume it's happening to us. We assume that we have to do exactly what the insurances say, how they say, keep up with all of the things, and we're very reactive to the insurance landscape rather than developing an in-office system to get ahead of those things. So it feels complicated because a lot of teams aren't taught that system. They're just taught the tasks. You take the PAs. You do the notes. She does the credentialing. You submit the claims. This person follows up on the denials, and it never really syncs all together of what the system is. Everybody's responsible for different things. And I kind of think of it like GPS in a car. We're going on a road trip, you know. Insurance is an unknown destination. It changes every 15 minutes, it feels like, with the frequency limitations and the denials and all of a sudden you have to do this and all of a sudden we need that. The system is the GPS. So if you get off track, the GPS can get you back on track quickly, and if you don't have that in that GPS system, you end up in the North 40, and it's really hard to come back from that. Nobody knows how you got there. Nobody knows why you got there, and everybody's just doing their best to get out of it, but that's not productive when people rely on those hand-me-down tasks that someone taught them 5-10 years ago. That's not developing a system, that's being reactive to a problem. So that's kind of how we got to where we got with all of this. And I love getting people back on track and being that GPS voice.
Clint, were you going to say something? You had that look on your face like you had a question. I was going to jump in, but I didn't want to take
Sorry.
him. I didn't over speak.
I think I was accidentally going to skip ahead on the agenda. I apologize.
That's okay.
I caught
So
myself.
I thought it was super interesting how you outlined that, Taylor, talking about how most people can see these things as just simply tasks,
Yep.
and miss how all of those tasks are connected, right? And naturally, within any systems, if tasks aren't understood how they impact the others, then naturally there's going to be a lot of friction, and the system's going to break at some point. It's just not going to run. So I love that idea of, okay, understanding that yes, these tasks are important, but we have to train individuals beyond just the tasks, but about the entire system. So I love that, just that the way that you separated those two things. So let's talk about why clean claims, and I'm assuming that this is part of the system, and if you want to go into the system more, we can. But let's talk about those clean claims and why that's one of the easiest ways to start to improve the process overall.
Yep, it's kind of that culminating piece of all things revenue cycle management. I know there's offices out there that don't take insurance, and bless you, man, is that not the dream? But in this space today, that's not a reality. Every dentist is contracted. There's, 15 different ways to contract: lease networks, partner networks, direct contracts, things you didn't know you were in network with because you signed up with somebody else. So it's very complex that way. And when the teams do understand that, you start seeing the cash flow. You start seeing the revenue cycle really take off. So if you do take insurance, which I know not everybody does, clean claims is the culmination of that entire system of whether it's going to work or not, whether it's going to fall apart or not. It's one of the fastest ways to improve collections without adding more patients, without adding more staff, because the hard work has already been done. We've already built the relationship with the patient. We've already diagnosed the treatment. We've already done the treatment. We've already got the most important pieces out of the way. And now this is that final step of, is your revenue cycle system going to work or not? So clean claims, when we talk about that, I guess the descriptor for clean claims is, did you do all of the steps in the process to make sure that you're going to get paid for the hard work that is already done? And if the answer to that is no, you are going to end up with a rejection. And so it's that kind of lens to view it through of, is this system broken or not? One of the things and operators are going to know this, one of the things that we look at is days in AR. That's a super important metric. There's other metrics out there that are practice growth metrics, KPIs, but the one that tells us if this system is broken or not is days in AR. Internally, and benchmark industry-wise, we shoot for less than 45 days in AR, and that means from the time a service was rendered to the time the claim is paid, the time the patient has paid, and that service is considered complete, we shoot for under 45 days, month and a half. I've seen some wild things, you guys, on how long this can go outstanding, and this is probably 2 separate podcast episodes, one on how to understand your PMS and what you're actually looking at, and another one on accrual-based accounting, which I know you guys have done, so plug for that. You need to go back and watch that episode as well, because that days in AR tells you if this system is broken or not. Numbers tell a story, and the story of days in AR is if this system in your practice is functional or broken. I did say 45 days in AR, but I'm going to pull a little bit of a Simon Sinek here. If you've read Infinite Game, there's a phrase that he uses in there called a worthy rival. So all of you operators out there, I'm going to give you a worthy rival, and I challenge you to challenge your teams to beat them. It's a almost $2 million practice, pretty rural community, takes every insurance under the sun because you have to when you're one of 2 in a community. They consistently maintain their days in AR at 17 to 21 and have done for 2 years. So there's your worthy rival. Come for us. See if you can beat it.
I love it.
Well, and I think that speaks, Taylor, to the very first thing that I kind of highlighted, right? Like understanding how the tasks all come together, and if that training is there, then the small errors and things like that would normally delay things for weeks and weeks and weeks are no longer becoming holdups and blockers to those claims coming through.
Yep. It absolutely is, and I've said it multiple times, and I'll preach it till the day I die. It is a system, and insurance, this is a punchline, you can take this. Insurance does not care about hard work, they care about accuracy. You can work day in, day out, night, stay late, come in early, touch a claim 50 times. They do not care how hard you work, they care how accurate you are, which is really comforting to teams, because a lot of teams, when we're in the operational space, things are objective. What does good look like for scheduling? Well, Dr. A likes to work through lunch and Dr. B does not. And so you could, get in trouble by doing the wrong thing there if that's your doctor's personality. But there's a lot that's objective. This is not. This is not objective at all. There are steps, there are rules, there's a system, there's a process, and people can feel like they've won. They're confident. It's something that is, I checked the box, I checked the box, I checked the box. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling accomplished. And in dental, that's very rare. So that's one of the reasons I love this system, is it's kind of an easy win. Nothing worth having is easy. So it's going to take hard work, but patient relations is a lot harder. And navigating staff and team and culture challenges is a lot harder. This is a system. And if you get it in place, it's a pretty easy win for collections and revenue cycle management.
Let's talk about the system behind the claims, right? Mm-hmm. Like we've talked about the benefits of this kind of. I think that this is a problem that a lot of people are feeling and feel familiar. They're probably baffled that you got 21 days, or what did you say, 17 days? Was that the challenge?
17 to 21, yep.
17 to 21. So give them some advice. Talk about the system and how they can try to incorporate it.
Absolutely. We'll kind of tee this one up with one of my favorite quotes. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is important stuff. So this one is one that if it isn't in place, the entire revenue cycle engine just falls apart. So what that system is, and I'm going to kind of give punchlines to this whole thing of like what it is kind of start to finish, and why it all matches and ties together. So this system, Clean Claims, I said it is kind of that culmination of the entire insurance system and process. Credentialing, contracting, insurance verification, using your PMS how it's intended to be used, correctly coding according to the ADA guidelines, getting your required documentation that insurances need to pay, your submission and your attachments, and then ultimately when you send that claim out, you have to follow the rules for EDI compliance, for HIPAA, all of the kind of technical behind the scenes things to get that claim to go through to the payers, out of the clearinghouse and into the payers. And then ultimately, it's either going to get paid, which we hope for, denied because it's a non-covered benefit, which that does happen, or rejected. Rejected is the one that grinds my gears because there's no reason a claim should be rejected due to missing information or errors on our part. So it's that entire engine: credentialing, contracting, verification, PMS, coding, documentation, attachments, and then following the rules to get it out the door and into the payer's hands to be adjudicated. So if you don't have a system for all of those things, you need a system. And so going all the way back to, you asked what that system looks like. Checklists are going to be your best friends. I know it sounds so silly, but there's a book, Checklist Manifesto. You can't tell, I love reading. Don't audiobook that one. It's a little bit dry, but very, very important. So the checklist, and back to that book, pilots use it, surgeons use it. There's a reason checklists exist, because in a fast-paced environment with lots of rules, lots of things to change, where even the tiniest misalignment is going to cause an issue, a checklist is necessary. So you need a checklist for all of the systems because it's going to eliminate preventable errors that happen because somebody forgot, got overwhelmed, somebody was trying to jump in and help somebody else, which we absolutely encourage in our practices. If they don't know what they're doing and they don't have a system to follow, you end up with those errors. So clean claims don't happen by accident. They happen by having a documented system that everybody knows and sticks to for all of those tasks that they touch, because we know all of the tasks come together to create that system. This is one of the most complex. You mentioned that at the beginning. There's 15 hands in this pot. You know, someone 10 years ago credentialed the doctors. We don't even know where that contract is. It's in a drawer somewhere, maybe in the practice, who knows. And from that point forward, it's been different people through the years whose hands are in that. There has to be a system for all of those things, a checklist, a cheat sheet, something that people can refer back to, because practices get busy and clinicians are focused on patient care. They are not focused on getting the initial placement date for a crown that we're redoing today, because that's not at the forefront of their mind, but we won't get paid for that work if we don't have it. So very important in that system. Where do you want me to go with that? What questions do you guys have?
I have like maybe too deep dive a question here, but you're at your DPO, you guys have multiple practice management systems, right? Does the
4. Yes.
Yeah. Does the system change at all based on the practice management system for this like clean data? Do you have to like prescribe different checklists across practice management systems?
For the most part, no. That one little piece of the system of PMS usage, yes, that is different. There's different buttons to click in different places based on the PMS, but the overarching piece of that, of use the PMS how it's intended to be used, applies to every single PMS that's out there. If you're putting your notes in the wrong spot, they're not going to attach on the claim and they're not going to go out to the clearinghouse. So yes, there's complexities with the different PMSs, but the piece of the system that is use the PMS how it's intended to be used sticks no matter what you have.
But my question is about, like, you have a lot of office managers that you're training within this system.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of listeners that are probably in the same boat, whether they're a regional manager or maybe they are more of a director level like you. What advice would you give to those leaders who are supporting and training those leaders that then are helping the execution of it in each individual office? Like, it's hard. I can imagine being so many steps removed. That's a unique challenge. What have you found effective that might help other regional manager or regional operators or directors that have that challenge?
Yep. Sorry to cut you off. This one, training matters, and what we're training on matters. So I am a director. I train, groups of 20 to 40 office managers at a time. I take one-offs. I do small groups. And one of the key things on this is making sure that you're understanding the metrics and the visibility of what you're looking at days in AR. There's times that you can have a system issue, like the system is broken. You don't have a checklist. You're not being clear. You are painting a very vague picture of what happens. And so to the owner operators out there, the people in charge of the system, that's on you. Get your checklists, get your cheat sheets, get the information so clear that literally an assistant could come from the back and jump into that system and be successful. It's going to take work on your part as an operator and as a teacher and a trainer to clarify that system to the point that it can't be messed up. And that kind of goes into the second piece of, if you've done that and you have done your work as a trainer, there is still a potential that it's a people problem. That you've got somebody that no matter how many times you've told them, no matter how many times you've gone over the checklist, no matter how many times you've reminded them, you have to take a pre-op PA and you have to get the initial placement date of that crown or it's going to be denied. There's that people problem. And I'm going to give a little tidbit. Teams, I am so sorry. You are going to hate me for this one if your director or your operator does this to you. But I've had people come back to me years and years later and be like, I was so thankful that you did that because it made me better. It helped me understand the system. I'm actually further in my career because I know things that people don't know. And this is what you're going to do. If it's a system problem, that's on you. You own it, you fix it, you get clear. If it's a people problem, I'm going to tell you this. You're going to gift them that claim. And that sounds a little bit intense, but if that happens, so say they're forgetting the pre-op PA and they're forgetting the initial placement date to get a crown paid, that claim is now theirs. That assistant is now responsible to contact the patient, get the initial placement date for that crown. They are responsible to put in the PMS. They are responsible to do the attachments. They are now responsible to get the documentation into whatever system you're using to get it out to the clearinghouse. They are responsible to follow it through the process. They are responsible to check the denials. They are responsible to follow up, and they are responsible to post it when it comes back. That's a lot of work for a manager.
Break it, you bought it.
You break it, you bought it.
Yep. I'm like,
Well, I gotta say something. Like, there's so many good leadership components to things that Taylor's saying, and I have lived this, not in the same space, but I've lived this on managing salespeople. And there's oftentimes poor leaders that miss that first step that you talked about. They want to go straight to it's a people problem, but
Yeah.
what they didn't take was the ownership of themselves. Like, have I done my job first? Is this so clear that, like you said, anybody in the office could come up and understand what success looks like? And until that's there, then frankly, it's just not possible to prove or have confidence that is a people problem. But then once you have done the work, and Taylor clearly has done the work, now that is so clear that you know what success looks like. You have an example of 17 days in AR, right? Like, we know that this system works. So if I coach you to the system and now you're not there, then it's clear that it's a people problem. So I really love that the ownership that is an example of from a leader. Like, you've got to do the work first, and once you've done that, now you can hold people accountable to the very clear system that generates success. Otherwise, if you don't put in the work, you're going to have what you think is people problems. Maybe it's a you problem. And you need to fix that first.
Yeah, and you'll see that in your cash flow. You'll see that in denials and the burnout that comes from this specific. You said it's one of the most complex pieces of this dental engine that we're trying to drive. It really is, and so people burn out really quickly when they're chasing things down. They feel like they don't understand. They feel like it's not clear. They feel like they can't ever win. They get burnout, and we lose really, really good people. And that's not ever something we aspire to do. We want this to be a fulfilling thing where teams stay, and they stay intact, and they stay strong, and they really are fully functioning, because that sets us up for the bigger things. That sets
Well,
us up
and
for
they're
scaling. That
and
sets
they're
us up
happy,
for raises.
right?
That sets us up for investment in tech. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they're happy
Yep, it's
because
a
they're seeing
totally different
success.
culture. Yeah.
Yeah, they're seeing success, they're tasting it. So yeah, now that's going to feed so much into to a positive culture. So good. Clint, I feel like
Yeah.
I've asked all the questions. I haven't even given you a chance.
It's okay.
What's
I just like listening to you guys go.
what's going through your mind? Anyway, all right. So, and we are a little bit past time, but I want to make sure this is such good information. I want to give Taylor a chance to just kind of give that final piece of advice. If you had one piece of advice for other operators that have listened to this, maybe on 2 times speed, so they didn't really hear everything that we said, what would be that one takeaway that they can't leave this episode without internalizing?
Okay, I'll kind of go 3 points, hit on them all already, but just to wrap them up with a nice bow. One, it is a system, and you, as an owner, whoever's in charge of it, the office manager, the director, wherever that lies in your organization, you have to have a system that anyone can come into and succeed. Document, document, document. It has got to be clear. It's very rarely a people problem. People want to do good. They want to succeed. They want to work hard, but insurance doesn't care about that. So get your system in place. You have to do that. One thing that I would say that if you don't have it, like where to start with, is actually a clean claim checklist, so that we are giving our team something. So if you have nothing documented, this is where I would start with the documentation. A clean claim checklist, things that should be on there. Do we have the correct doctor, provider, tax ID, NPI, location information on the claim? Did we get the correct subscriber data? Do we have the right narratives? Do we have the right attachments? It gives that checklist of what needs to happen, and it gives basically that like claim ready status. If all of those pieces are going well and you have that checklist and you're getting claims paid, it means that your system is working. So there's verification, there's things that go into that, but that final step of did we get everything, is it right? Start there and build around that skeleton and that framework for this entire revenue cycle insurance management engine. If you don't have it, start there.
Are you going to write your checklists up and sell them as a package, Taylor?
No, they're just going to join Accelerate.
Got it.
I love
No,
it.
and
Awesome.
I am happy to help. We do have information out there. We do teach, we do train. So if there's anyone that's like, I want that checklist, I want that information, I want what you've already got, don't be afraid to give out my number. Don't be afraid to give out my email. I'm not going to put it on blast right now, but if they reach out to you, feel free to share.
Yeah, awesome. Taylor, you're so amazing. Accelerate is very, very, very lucky to have you. And we're lucky to have had you join us today. I definitely think there's another episode in the future. We're going to bring Taylor back. She's got, this is, you guys, we just scratched the surface of the knowledge and experience and advice that Taylor has. So we'll definitely have you back on. Thanks again for joining us. As always, please like and subscribe. It helps more operators get to hear information like this from individuals like Taylor. So like, subscribe, share it. I know Taylor's on LinkedIn, probably a good place to find her. If you do have questions, you can also reach out to us. We're more than happy to facilitate an introduction. So thanks everybody for listening. Thank you, Taylor, for joining us. And we'll see you all on the next episode.
Thank you.